Well, as the water begins to recede, focus is shifting to the clean-up of thousands of homes that's been inundated by floodwaters.
With some areas copping more than a year's worth of rain in 3 days, for many the recovery is far from over. Well, joining us from the State Emergency Operations Centre in Sydney is Resilience New South Wales Commissioner Shane Fitzsimmons. Shane, good morning and thank you for your time. Now, we know the rain is subsiding, but thousands are still under evacuation orders. What is the focus right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Sarah. As you're right, we've still got nearly 40,000 people subject to evacuation orders throughout the Hawkesbury and Nepean area, up through the Central Coast and parts of the Lower Hunter. So there's still that primacy of life preservation and safety, but at the same time there's a lot of other areas across this vast network of river systems where the waters are starting to recede. So the very difficult, the very challenging task of helping individuals, families, businesses with the clean-up and the washout, and then of course the extraordinary task of recovering yet again, and for people throughout the Hawkesbury and Nepean, the fourth time now in only a couple of years. It's extremely debilitating for those communities.
So what does recovery look like this time, given it is the fourth time? Are there things we can do different or approaches we can take differently to avoid a fifth?
Look, avoiding a fifth is a real challenge, Charles, and we can't control Mother Nature, but we know there are some long-term and significant plans ahead that we need to look at around mitigation and prevention options. But we are learning together, local communities. In my visits alone, just in the last couple of years, whether it was March 21 or February and March earlier this year, and now again only this last week. Learnings and lessons, the way we can get things in more speedily, more expeditiously, that we can nuance needs and requirements to particular communities based on the recency of experiences. Those are all the things that are being factored in how we expedite and improve services and support this time round. But we've got to keep in mind that people are emotionally broken in their first flood. But when you've got 2, 3 and 4, that takes an enormous toll. So the mental health and wellbeing, the emotional and psychological supports, they're going to be critical, as well as the physical and monetary supports that are being deployed and organised right now.
As you rightly touch on there is a lot of frustration in the community. I mean, this is the fourth time it's happened. There's fatigue out there and people are just wanting help. Resilience New South Wales was slammed during the Lismore floods for being too late to act. Do you think you're getting it right this time? I mean, have you not learned yet how to do this? Yeah,
absolutely. And what I can say is relief and recovery arrangements have never been deployed and never been enacted quicker than they have been in the last couple of years. I think a lot of criticism centred our way, particularly in the last year or so, was around roles and functions that weren't our purview, such as response and leading those sorts of events.
But that's the issue though, isn't it, Shane? Because it's so frustrating and people need to get things done now. When their homes are flooding, they've got nowhere to go. You can't just sit back and wait for the right 100%. Protocols to fall into place.
No, not at all. And that's why we're seeing more than 1,200 people registered through evacuation centres. We've got hundreds of people in emergency accommodation. Those things are happening with the immediacy of support and assistance that's necessary. We've enacted and put into place teams of just under 1,000 already, starting in recent days, en masse today as waters are receding, to help people with the clean-up and the removal of all the items and belongings that have been soiled and damaged. We know that the quicker we can do that, A, it helps with the physical recovery, but B, it also helps with the emotional recovery, and they're critical factors when it comes to dealing with not just a disaster, but the consecutive compounding effects of multiple similar disasters and big events that have affected these people.
And Commissioner, just quickly, how are your crews doing after those consecutive and compounding disasters?
I think like the rest of society, Charles, they're tired and fatigued, but they're committed to making a difference. They're committed to supporting and assisting those that need the support and assistance, learning from each event and seeking to do things better, quicker, more focused than we ever have before.
Thank you very much for your time, Resilience Commissioner Shane Fitzsimmons there. Hopefully they are quicker to act this time around, Charles.